Dallas Cowboys offense and quarterback Dak Prescott have been heating up lately. Dak leads the NFL in passing completion percentage. Now, do you think that Dak should be in the MVP conversation?
Here's the trick. Take the star off his helmet.
Okay.
Get rid of the silver, get rid of the blue. Get rid of the name on the back.
Would be hard to do because the correlation there is...
And that's part of the problem. Good and bad.
Yep.
If you're a Cowboy homer, and you have a right to be, maybe you're extremely pro-Dak. Although we've run into a lot of people who are Cowboy fans who I find strangely are anti-Dak.
I agree.
But if you simply look at the performance, look at the numbers, look at the way he's throwing the football, look at the decisions he's making, look at his movement, his mobility, including as a runner, and then look at the Cowboys' success over the course of the last month.
Yeah.
If you just said that was player X performing for team X, it's not even a debate. It's quite obvious that over the course of the last month of the season, and then for the season as a whole, with the Cowboys at 6-3 as we sit here, that quarterback of that team, no matter what his name is, no matter what the team is an MVP candidate. In this particular case, his name is somehow weirdly controversial, and it's Dak Prescott.
Jerry Jones believes that he should be in the conversation.
So does the locker room, and Micah Parsons said this before the blowout of the Giants, that the same thing, the numbers, and we don't even have to include the character and the leadership and all those kind of things that some Cowboys fans get a little tired of hearing.
Yeah.
When you lose a game or lose a playoff game and say, yeah, but character and leadership, that doesn't really fly. But at 6-3, character and leadership tagged on to the performance, and there's a short list of MVP candidates, and Dak Prescott should be on that list.
Okay, I'm with you there. Dallas Cowboys wide receiver CeeDee Lamb. Is he the best receiver in the league? I got to get your thoughts on this.
This week he is, because he just won NFC Offensive Player of the Week. So this week he's the best player in the conference. I'm not a big list guy in this way because, to use one of Jerry's favorite words, Mr. Mack, it's fungible. Which nobody knows what that means, but it's fluid, it's flexible, it changes. So for instance, right now, Devontae Adams, he's not even in the conversation because he and the Raiders aren't doing anything. Maybe this week the Raiders will do something. There's a host of guys. You can go Diggs in Buffalo. He's not this week.
No, he's not.
I know that everybody thinks it's somebody else's fault. Including Trayvon Diggs thinks it's somebody else's fault. He thinks it's Josh Allen's fault. But that Monday night debacle against Denver, he caught 3 balls for 35 yards. Well, that's not the best receiver in football. It simply can't be. So I do think it's a fluid thing. I think the issue, or the better question, the better answer, is CeeDee Lamb in the class of wide receiver now, where he can go carry you through a game, where unstoppable is a little bit of a strong word, but where no matter what you do, he could still get his. And yes, CeeDee Lamb, 10-150 times 3 in a row, CeeDee Lamb has established now over the course of the last month that he's that guy. Dak Prescott, by the way, the other day said, what are they going to do against us? Who are they going to pick? How are they going to, what if they try to stop him? They won't be able to get him to. And I'm like, let's settle down a little bit. Teams aren't going to go, oh no, CD or Brandon Cooks or Gallup, which one should we pick to double cover and take away? They will try to take away CeeDee Lamb. And if, as a benefit of that, Brandon Cooks gets numbers again, good. Michael Gallup gets some numbers again, good. But CeeDee Lamb now is the show, and he's in that conversation, undoubtedly.
Yeah, and CeeDee Lamb entering week 11, only 25 receiving yards away from 1,000 already, which is pretty exciting for Lamb.
You know what else is exciting for him? And he said this the other day. He said, if you don't believe that I'm the top receiver in the league, as he proclaimed himself to be, I'll see you next week. and so he intends to prove that again in Carolina. And he didn't say this part, and he's been pretty good. In fact, I asked him about this a couple weeks ago about in-season contract negotiation, because he's due, of course. And he said, it's just not what I'm thinking about now. He might not be thinking about negotiating now, but you can't not think about your next paycheck. We all would, we all do.
Your performance is very much tied to that paycheck.
Right, and this has been a conversation about a $20 million wide receiver, $20 million a year wide receiver. That's kind of where I think most people are comfortable. Well, Stephon Diggs makes $28 million a year. Devontae Adams makes $28 million a year. So I don't think it's lost on CeeDee Lamb that every week that he does this is another positive argument for him to be able to make on his side of the negotiating table when the time is right.
Mike, what do you think of Trayvon Diggs' comments about what's happening in Buffalo?
I think it's stupid.
Oh.
I think it's almost suicidal. It makes everybody look bad. And I assume, first of all,
so public.
Well, these are things, you could just text your brother.
Yeah.
There is a theory, by the way, out there that Trayvon Diggs doing that, he did it because in coordination with Stephon, knowing he was going to do it. And that's a little conspiratorial for me, maybe, but Trayvon in ripping Josh Allen and the Bills and saying, get my brother, we got to get you out of there, it's the quarterback's fault, I'm paraphrasing on the second one, thinking that he's helping his brother, he's hurting his brother.
Yeah, the drama up there is...
You're adding to the drama when it's none of your business. It really is none of your business. You're his brother. You're not his keeper, and you're not him. I think this a lot about whether it's spouses, and it doesn't matter male or female, that doesn't make any difference. Parents, stay out of it. We have, the Patrick Mahomes thing with his brother.
Yeah.
That's destructive. You're not in the arena. Go over in your own arena and do your thing. My story about this is about being a mom and dad in the stands and your kid's playing a little league and he gets plucked in the shoulder with a ball and he goes down into a crumble. And here comes mommy to go run up.
Right.
It's not your job.
Yeah.
That if you want to be the coach or the trainer, go be the coach or the trainer. Your job is to bring the orange slices. So Trayvon Diggs, love you, love everything you do. I know you're a little bored as you're working through your rehab and you're watching football.
Hard to watch your brother go through.
No doubt. But you are adding to the drama that makes it less likely that your brother will succeed in Buffalo, which I assume you want. He's not getting traded to Dallas. You know why he's not getting traded to Dallas anytime soon? Because the trade deadline's over. So forget that. Could you work your way into getting cut? Could you be such a pain? Well, Odell Beckham Jr. did that with the Browns a couple years ago. Yeah. He just griped himself out of town and went and joined a Super Bowl team. Stephon, of course, griped themselves out of Minnesota with a series of Twitter rants that caused the whole world to say, what incredible drama, we got to do something there. I would say to the Cowboys on Trayvon Diggs, be careful on Stephon Diggs, careful what you wish for. Because he's now 0-2 in terms of that sort of a drama. Brilliant player, of course. But Trayvon, you're in charge of the orange slices. That's it.
I like that take. Also, the Cowboys have hardly any drama in their locker room, so really have to be careful about the pieces that you add.
Yeah, it's a delicate thing. In fact, here's a great example of it. In New England right now, one of the newspapers has taken a survey of sorts and discovered that 80% of the locker room is no longer behind Mac Jones. They're against Mac Jones. That he does not have the locker room support in an overwhelming way. That it's guys on both sides of the ball. Well, of course, that's a reporter's job, so that's fine. Andrew Callahan, I think. That's our job. Sometimes it's our job to be a fly in the ointment, unfortunately. Nobody should have ever answered that question. No player should answer that question.
That's a good point.
You want dissent in your locker room? You want issues in your locker room? You want to reveal that you have a bad locker room? Answer that question. And again, he had two sources. So somebody told somebody. He didn't go survey 50 people. It's not just an indictment of Mac Jones that the locker room is no longer behind him. It's an indictment of the locker room.
Yeah, the players that answered.
Those 50 guys, when they're asked that question, are supposed to say, bleep you, I'm not talking to you.
Yeah, that's my teammate.
It's also an indictment of Bill Belichick's leadership. Once upon a time, there was do your job. Now, in the players' defense, maybe they're going, Bill's not doing his job. Why do I have to do mine? So you're right about the Cowboys locker room. It's a positive vibe place, and it's a very delicate chemistry. And this sort of stuff, including, by the way, the sort of stuff that comes from Micah Parsons, who we'll visit with over the course of this week and try to get some more insight to. Micah Parsons goes on social media and complains about his role. Free me, he writes, following up on Sam Williams.